What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Route Runners podcast. I'm your host, Jared.
James.
I'm Jason.
And-
Wait, hold on. So
Right.
should I just say because you said last time, I'm just gonna be filling in.
I mean, you can just say that. It's fine.
Okay.
For now, we don't know when Shrieker's coming back. So
Yeah.
Jason's going to be with us for the time being. Definitely for the continuation of this ultimate redraft, which is what we're doing here. But before we get to that, round two, I wanted to get to some news that happened this week. Some pretty decent players got signed. Two of them to the New Orleans Saints, Jarvis Landry and Tyron Matthew. What did you guys think about that?
I knew it was going to happen. It was pretty predictable. They were planning on going to the Saints for months now, and then they finally did. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. I feel like even last year going into the season, a lot of people didn't think the Saints would be that good just because they had salary cap problems and a lot of players leaving, like Drew Brees retiring. Yet they were still a pretty decent team. They were middle of the pack. And of course, here they are again, signing two pretty solid players. So they're probably still going to be a good team again. They could have a chance at the playoffs again. We'll see. But I think they're two really good signings.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird, signing Jarvis Landry when you made a move to trade up for Olave, but it was only a 1 year, $3 million deal. So in that sense, it really doesn't matter. And, Tyron Matthew, I think, is great for that team. Really good secondary with Marcus May, who they got in the offseason, and then they also have Marshawn Lattimore too. Yeah, I think sadly, I think the Saints are actually going to be pretty good this year.
I feel like with signing Jarvis Landry, it's kind of like a lot of teams have been doing this. The Cowboys is the most notable one. When they drafted CeeDee Lamb, it's you don't really need him. You have two really good receivers ahead of him already. But it's you have so many receivers, and then you have Zeke and Tony Pollard and such a good offensive line. It's you can't stop all of them at once. I feel like that's what they're going for.
Yeah. James, what was the other news that we had to?
Jair Alexander.
Jair Alexander gets extended from the Green Bay Packers. I think he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. This one made sense. He's the highest corner now, I'm pretty sure.
And then Melvin Ingram to the Dolphins.
Yeah, he was actually a pretty big piece on that Chiefs defense. Definitely helped them improve when they were struggling earlier on in the season. He was a big part of the Chargers defense for many years. And then he went to, I think he was on the Steelers for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he went to Kansas City, and then now he's on Miami. I don't know. I keep saying Miami's a really overrated team, but they're doing a lot to really help themselves.
Yeah, it's all on Tua. If Tua does good, then the Dolphins will do good. That's my theory.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good signing. I feel I don't know why Melvin Ingram's kind of been going under the radar recently. The Steelers kind of picked him up later into the offseason last year, kind of this, and it wasn't for that much money from what I can remember. And I mean, he's a really good veteran player. He can move all over the defense, really, or all over the defensive line and make an impact. And then we saw he helped the Chiefs, improve their defense. So I was kind of surprised to see him go so late and for such little money, but he is getting older. So I don't know.
Yep, I would have to agree. I think we're
I think there's
good.
one more thing.
Let me see. Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So what exactly happened with him? It was he hit his baby formula, right?
Something stupid like that.
It was
I don't
something
know.
really petty.
I'm pretty sure he got released.
Yeah. It was 1,500 bail, so it was nothing big at all.
Yeah, but yeah, people are idiots. That's
still worth talking about.
That's pretty much Jeudy. I mean, I think he is probably going to end up being the wide receiver one on that Denver team. So if he ends up if this comes back or something like that, it could be a real problem. But I think for now it's fine. So we'll see. But
yeah, I think the wife or girlfriend or whatever it is said she wasn't going to press charges because it was something it was probably just a stupid petty argument. Haha, I got your baby formula. Give me back my wallet. Or I think it was something like that. I don't know. It was something stupid. So I think it was just something the music. Oh my God.
yeah,
he has bail or something. I don't got arrested. This is big news. We got to make something out of it. And an off season or this part of the off season where nothing's really going on. So it's all it is, just like the media trying to make headlines.
Yeah. Well, speaking of nothing going on, this is why we're doing the ultimate redraft. That was such a good transition. Wow.
Sure.
So
Unintentional.
round 2 is going to be starting now. I will be sharing my screen just so you guys can maybe take a look at what we did last time. If you missed the round 1 video, which should still be on YouTube if you want to check that out. James started off the draft with Patrick Mahomes to the Jags, Jason with Josh Allen to the Lions, me with Aaron Donald to the Texans, and then we kind of just kept that order and kept going down. I can't find my scroll bar. Oh, I can move this to the other side. There we go. Better. Okay. So we ended the draft with Chris Jones going to the Rams. Jason obviously keeps the Los Angeles Rams, so he gets to make his next pick for the Rams, and we're just going to keep going in the order that we were already at. We also all have access to the stock now, so I don't have to misspell everything again. So Jason, take it away with pick number 33.
All right. So I had a lot of time to think about this, and I was going to go in a certain direction, but then I changed my mind because it's kind of similar to James' pick with the Packers. Like, they took Dak Prescott, not because like he was the best player available, but like at the position, you're kind of running out of options. And I think that's what teams are going to have to do here round 2, because at the end of this round, there's probably going to be no QBs you really have a chance at winning with, I'd say, or have a future, in my opinion. I feel like all the QBs are going to be taken here. And so I have the Rams taking Kirk Cousins here. He's proven to be a pretty solid QB year in and year out. I mean, honestly, he might be underrated just because he doesn't really turn the ball over. He does always have pretty good weapons, but I think this is a QB that will always give you a chance to win. You know, he's not going to hurt your team too often, and I think that's what really makes the Rams want to choose him over other QBs left, just because you know what he's going to bring and he's not going to hurt you.
I mean, yeah, I would say he's probably the best quarterback available. I wrote down like a bunch of like players available. So like if it looks like I'm on my phone being distracted, it's because of that. It's not because I'm not paying attention. But
That's what I've been doing.
I have mine on my computer and it's on my lap. So if I'm shaking a lot, that's why.
All right. So yeah, I just deleted Kirk Cousins off my thing. So all right, James, you're up.
That's all I'd say. Hold on.
What the hell was that?
Don't even know. Let's see. I don't know why, but I kind of want to stack. I feel like the Bengals would stack offense, but I don't know if it would just be the receiver position. And I just realized that this guy did not get drafted, and I think that he's such a good offensive weapon that the Bengals can't really pass him up in the second round. And if I'm not blind, let's see, I am not. So I'm gonna have the Bengals taking CMC.
Ooh,
because I'm just gonna write CMC because if he survives injuries, he is the most he's a Swiss Army knife basically in offense, except for the running part, or not the run. Wow, I'm fucking retarded. Except for the passing part. But if he's healthy, he's known to be one of the best backs in the league. He's probably the best receiving back in the league. And I think if Bengals want to stack offense, the pairing of Cooper Kupp, who was the wide receiver 1 last year, potentially can still remain that, and CMC if he's healthy, potentially running back 1 too. Like that's a deadly pairing for the Bengals.
all right. So at 35, we're gonna have the first guy in this ultimate draft to go back to the team that he is on currently. I'm picking Travis Kelce. I'm kind of surprised that he's still available at 35. I think tight end is a more valuable position than people give like credit for, because I just think like you look at a lot of the teams that have been in the Super Bowl over the last couple of years, like with the Eagles with Zach Ertz, like a few years ago when he was one of the best in the league. The Patriots have always had Gronk. The Bucks had Gronk a couple of years ago. The Chiefs in Super Bowl 55 also had Kelce. Like tight ends can just get you really far, and Kelce's not nearly as good of a blocking tight end as George Kittle, but he's probably a better receiving threat. He's been the tight end 1 in fantasy for like 6 years in a row. Not that fantasy really has a lot to do with real life, and you also have to remember Kelsey has Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball, but I think Kelsey's been a great tight end for a while now. He is 32, but yeah, Travis Kelsey is the first player to go back to his team at pick number 35.
All right. Pick 36 is a little pick. You wouldn't really think this position would go early. I don't think anyone in this position has been drafted yet, but also this might be a little biased. I'm going Derwin James. I think he's not necessarily just a safety. I mean, he can easily play linebacker. I mean, it's pretty much what he does do. He plays in the box most of the time. And I feel like the 49ers defense is led by Fred Warner, and I think Derwin could just play that same role. I'd rather Derwin than any of the other linebackers left just because of how, like, Levante David and Bobby Wagner are obviously still very good, but they're also old. And then you have guys like Roquan Smith, who's obviously very good, but Derwin James in the run game and in pass coverage is just very high up there in elite level. Only question with him is his injury history, but I don't know. I've said before to you guys, like, I don't really care about injuries. They happen. So I think Derwin James here makes sense, and he can play pretty much a linebacker role.
Nice. I don't know what to say that. So I'm gonna follow in Jared's footsteps with the taking a player that's on the team, and I think I should have taken him instead of Denzel Ward, but it's Jair Alexander because I don't know, because you need a very solid cornerback one, and I think between him and Denzel Ward, I mean, I don't know, I'm gonna stop comparing him to Denzel Ward, but like Jair is obviously one of the best corners in the league, and him at cornerback 1 solidifies that secondary already. So I think that, like, you having Dak kind of makes your offense not great, but with Jair, it kind of picks up the slack. I don't know. I feel like I'm not talking that much, but like, there's not much to say about Jair. Everyone knows he's a good player, and everyone knows that he's just an impact player. So he's coming home to Green Bay.
All right. I really want to stack on offensive weapons here, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go on the defensive line, and I feel like this guy has just fallen way too far. I'm going Joey Bosa. You can argue he's the best in his family. Nick Bosa is younger, though, 3 years younger, so that's why we had him going before. But, I mean, Joey Bosa can maybe struggle a little bit in the run game, but other than that, he's everything you want from a pass rusher. Double-digit sacks pretty much every year. Hasn't had a whole lot of injury history, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, you get George Kittle on the offensive side. You get Joey Bosa on the defensive side. You have your tight end for the next 10 years, and you have your edge rusher for the next probably at least 10 years. Joey Bosa is one of the best in the league, and I think that this is I don't know if I'd say a steal at 38, but I think it's a pretty good value pick at 38.
All right, so at 39, I'm going to go back to my reasoning for the Rams pick. Titans I had them taking Micah Parsons in the first round, so they need offense, and, they need to start their offense out with a QB. So the best left for me, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. I mean, you could argue another QB, which maybe I'll take later, so I don't want to say who it is yet, but the QB I'm thinking of is a bit younger and unproven, but Matt Ryan's proven. He's made it to a Super Bowl. He's won an MVP. He's a veteran. He can lead a team. He's similar to Kirk Cousins. He's not really going to hurt your team too much. You know what you're going to get from him. So it's kind of like they need a QB, so they're just going to take the best available and hope that they can compete this year.
So much like Jason's case for taking an offensive player for the Titans, the Bills have Denzel Ward, so they need offense. But I'm not a fan of the QB room right now, and not really running backs. I mean, I'm a fan of running backs, but I feel like they're just better receivers out there. And Jared's gonna like this pick. It's Sir Justin Jefferson.
Oh, you stole it from me.
Haha.
You
So
did.
it's so hard to read his name with the Bills thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. Sorry.
I'm gonna make the blue a little darker. That looks better.
Yeah,
That does look
looks
better.
good.
So again, he's probably top 3 receiver, and the other 2 got taken in Devontae and Cooper Kupp. So I think he's already a corner. I think a cornerstone piece is the right term. Sure.
Yeah.
Look, he can make Kirk Cousins look good. So I mean, if you throw any QB out there that's still on the board, then he'll make him look good. Again, they're obviously good running backs out there, but Jefferson he's young. He's already proven that he can be a top 3 receiver. He's got that swagger to him that people like, and I think Bills fans would love that. But I don't know. I love the guy, and I know Jared does too. So I think I mean, I feel like it's right to draft him like around this area. But again, he's too good to pass up on for the Bills, especially if they need an offensive weapon here. And again, the QB situation is not great, so may as well get a person who can make any any quarterback look good. Sorry, my mouth is very dry. I had orange chicken for dinner.
That sounds really good.
Not from Panda though, so sorry.
No, so it's not as good.
Unfortunate, yeah.
Homemade.
All right, I'm gonna continue the theme of drafting a guy on the same team, or going to his current team. Sorry, he may be a little old, but I'm gonna go with Tyron Smith. Get Derek Carr some protection. He hasn't really had a whole lot of that in his career. And again, this Cowboys offensive line has been such a great unit over the last couple of years that like it's been pretty incredible. Like Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott had like 2 of the best rookie seasons in their respective positions from that. And it just seems like whenever Tyron Smith doesn't play for the Cowboys, which is kind of often, which is why maybe taking him at 41, maybe a little bit of a high spot. It's just like that offense looks so different. Dak looks really rushed. He looks bad. And I just think that Dallas would love to get one of their offensive linemen back. And this is perfect for Derek Carr. I was going to give him a new weapon in Justin Jefferson. Obviously, James took him right before I could. But, getting protection is going to really like hurt anyone. So I'm going with Tyron Smith.
All right. So I'm going to go QB again. And I was talking about this one younger QB earlier. And now that I think about it, there's another younger QB I'd rather over this guy, but I'm still taking the one I was talking about before just because I feel like it just fits too well here. Cliff Kingsbury in his time at Oklahoma has had a lot of talented QBs. I mean, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts is who I'm taking. I just feel like for his teams to be good, he needs a good QB, and he's always had a good QB, a guy who's just going to put up good numbers. And I mean, Hurts has gotten a lot of slander past year or two. Just, he can't really throw. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the greatest arm, but he's like a Walmart Lamar. He can run really well, and he can throw decent enough. Like, give him enough weapons, and he'll be perfectly fine. Give him an offensive line. Just put him in a decent offense and he'll put up good numbers for you and give you a chance to win.
All right. So I'm also going in QB land. So the Raiders have the QB for the defense, not only their actual QB. And this one's going to be extremely controversial, but he was one of the best college QBs ever and one of the most highly touted prospects of all time.
I'm going to get sniped twice in a row.
That's another one I was thinking of. Yep.
God damn it.
2 hours between.
Look, he had a terrible year 1, but if you saw what the team he was put on, then you would understand why. We know he has potential. Again, he was one of the most, besides like Burrow and maybe Deshaun Watson, he's one of the best college QBs we've ever seen play. So like the potential is there. He just needs to get adjusted to the NFL. And I think if the Raiders can surround him with a better offense than the Jags, which is not hard to do, then I think he will thrive. And again, like we know he can do well. It's just he has to make that adjustment to the next level. And I think in his second year, I think he's very capable of doing that because he's got a sense of what the NFL is like. He's been put on in a crap situation. So if he's put in a better situation, he can definitely perform well. And he's extremely young. So the Raiders can develop him. They can obviously have him for a long time. He can be a franchise QB. So take a shot on him. The Raiders are going to take a shot on him. That's what I meant to say.
I really got sniped twice in a row. It was going to be the perfect fit with Trevor Lawrence going to Bill Belichick so he can teach the next Tom Brady. But
Nah, he's going to crap. I mean, the Patriots, Josh McDaniels. That's what it is.
yeah,
So hey, the Raiders
So it
snipe
kinda
Josh
works out.
McDaniels. Yeah, the Raiders snipe Josh McDaniels. I snipe Trevor Lawrence.
fair enough. All right. So to pair with Nelson on the Patriots, the quarterbacks are flying off the board. So I feel like I got to go with one. And, the thing was going to be Bill Belichick would fix what was wrong with Trevor Lawrence in the first year. Well, I think a quarterback that's out there that really needs fixing, but I think still has a lot of potential and can do a lot of really good things in this league is Jameis Winston. We've seen him have a 30 touchdown season. I spelled it wrong, so clearly that changed. We've seen him have very successful seasons in the past.
Jameis
Stealing crab legs, groping Uber drivers. He's had a really eventful
Eating
life so
W's.
far.
Yeah. Allegedly sexually assaulting a girl at FSU.
Yeah, it's been a time for Jameis, but yeah, Bill Belichick I think could fix anyone. He made Cam Newton into being somewhat competent. Obviously, he made Tom Brady the best quarterback of all time, and again, we've seen really good things happen from Jameis. I think that Belichick would, the 30-30 season that Winston had, I think that he can definitely cut down on the interceptions in a Belichick system. You also pair it with Quentin Nelson, who's again one of the best young offensive linemen in this league, so Jameis can have a little more time back there to figure things out. I maybe Belichick won't be as great without Josh McDaniels to help run the offense, but again, quarterbacks are running off the board. I think Jameis is the next best left, so I got to go with him.
Okay, so my next pick, it's gonna be a weird pick.
Steelers have Trent Williams right now, by the way.
Yeah. So to go along with Trent Williams, I'm adding an offensive player, and I'm actually not going to go QB. This is a weird one, and it could be very risky. I'm going to go with Deebo.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even write him. I don't know why I didn't write him down.
I wasn't really thinking about this at all until I kind of reasoned it out in my head. Like, is a weird comparison, but like he could be very similar to Le'Veon Bell when he was on the Steelers, just like a big guy who can break tackles and is pretty elusive, and then also very good receiving. Like when Le'Veon Bell was in his prime, he was probably like one of the best receiving backs as well as like pure runners. Like I think the Steelers might try and build what they had back then with Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben, AB, and just create this insane offense with so many weapons, and that they're just going to put up so many points a game. And so hopefully can keep building the offense, and then maybe the defense will come. But also this does come with risk because like we have seen the issues with Deebo and like how he kind of wanted out of San Fran for a bit, and then he seemed like he followed them again on Instagram or something. I don't know what's going on with that. He said he didn't really want to play the position he was playing, like the wide back or whatever it was called. I don't know. I don't know the full details on that situation, but I think if all goes well, this will be a home run pick for them, and he'll have a great year, especially with the start of Trent Williams. But I think that's the direction I want to go in with the Steelers and kind of build up the offense there.
Okay. So we all know the Eagles hate defense. So I'm giving them another offensive player, but it was tough deciding between these two. But I think the Eagles right now, they love to run, but I'm going to switch them to a pass heavy team, and I'm going to give them DeAndre Hopkins. Even though like he just got suspended for PEDs, he's still a beast. I don't know what happened to him last year. He just kind of fell off the face of the earth, but with the other receivers on the board like DK Metcalf and stuff, I still think DeAndre is better than them. And pairing him with Tyreek Hill, like, what are you gonna do if we're being real? You got two deep threats. I don't know. Like, again, it's just like the Jefferson situation where any QB you put back there, they're gonna make them do good. So they can screw defense. If they score every time on offense, then they're gonna win every game. So again, having Hopkins and Tyreek Hill is kind of scary. I could have had the man who created the best play ever in the face of football in DK Metcalf, but
All right.
I mean, he chased down Buda Baker, but I still think DeAndre Hopkins is better.
Yeah. All right. So with this,
I hate that I can't English right now.
it's okay. No one can. So the Saints have Kyler Murray. I think that you can be okay with him as one of your offensive players. So I'm going to head to the defensive side here, and I'm going to go with the corner. We've only had 3 go so far, and Ramsey, Ward, and Jair Alexander. I think J.C. Jackson is the next best one. This guy was like a lot of people will probably say that Trayvon Diggs was the best cornerback last year because he had 11 interceptions, but I think J.C. Jackson had like 8 or something like that. I'm pretty sure he led the league in picks the year before. He was an undrafted player, so clearly he has overcome the odds. He played for Bill Belichick, and maybe he got it's a little scary when people leave the Patriots because Belichick, it seems like he always knows what he's doing, but who knows? Maybe they're completely falling off. But I like the story of J.C. Jackson, how he kind of just came up from absolutely nothing, and now he's one of, if not the best cornerbacks in the league on a really good Patriots defense. He's a great cover corner. You just put your best receiver on him, and you put him on the opposing best receiver, and you should be fine. And he's very young too. I think he's like 25 or 26.
Yeah, he is pretty young. I think he might be 27, 26. I don't know.
He'll be 27 in the middle of the season. So
yeah. Okay. So 48, I was thinking of going with offensive line because that's something we always struggle with. But I'm actually going to go with corner, and this is the first when I heard you say corner, I kind of got worried. I was like, oh shit, he's going to take my guy. I got to choose someone else, but I'm going to go with Tre'Davious White. I think a lot of people forget about him because he did tear his ACL. I don't know if I'm spelling this right. That's a weird name, but because he did tear his ACL last year, but he's a top corner. There was a point in time, or some points in time, where some people would even say he was the best corner of the game. I feel like a lot of people doubt Ramsey a lot, and he'll have one bad game, like, oh, he's not good. But Tre'Davious White's very good. I don't have much to say, but he's very good. That's all I have to say. He's very good. He's very talented.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to analyze corners in this.
Yeah, I feel like, all the ones we're drafting right now are just all lockdown corners, and that's not much more you can say.
Yeah. Obviously lockdown. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I zoned out for a sec.
I feel like most of the corners are very similar, and they're just they all do the same thing. While we have Debo, who's very different than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
All right. So for the Colts, they're set on offense with Devontae Adams. So I'm going to give him a young linebacker who I think can lead this defense very well because he is a Super Bowl champion, and that is Devin White.
It's a good one.
Yes, it is. I don't really have much to say about him. Again, it's kind of like a situation where everyone knows he's good, and he proved it on that Bucs defense. Obviously, he had a lot of help on that defense, but I think he was one of the key pieces to make that defense a Super Bowl defense. And without him, who knows how they'll be? But I think he's a nice. He's a good franchise guy for the Colts too, because he's 24, so he's going to be around a while. I think the Colts would be happy with this pick because again, they get a franchise middle linebacker who is already really good at a young age, so they don't really have to work much on him. So I think they know that he can be a leader of the defense. So Devin White.
All right. So with the Miami Dolphins, this is tough.
Yes.
Because this is the only team left where I don't have a quarterback.
And there aren't many QBs.
And there are not a lot. So I'm going to stay away from the quarterback department. All right, I'm going to go a little off the board here. This is a guy I could probably get a lot later, but I think what he did last year to improve a certain unit in the league was actually really impressive. And the fact that he's only 22 or 23 years old, I'm going with Rashawn Slater. Maybe a little bit of a reach because he's only, again, like 22 or 23. He was only drafted last year. But what he was able to do to that, which, by the way, the Dolphins have Myles Garrett. Again,
Yes.
what he was able to do for that Chargers offense last year was absolutely amazing. Justin Herbert, I believe in 2020 was the most sacked quarterback, I think it was like PFF, they had the worst ranked offensive line or something like that,
Yeah.
where it was like really, really bad.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, Jason, you know more than me. What were the Chargers O-line ranked last year? It was something pretty high.
I'm pretty sure it was bottom 5. I don't know exactly what their ranking was, but it was bottom 5, and I know I just watched our QBs get demolished every game. So
What about, I'm saying last year? Like, what was it?
last year,
when Slater got there.
Well, Slater got there. I don't know our rankings, but it was like I don't think we needed Zion Johnson in the draft. Like, just kind of going off topic from the ultimate redraft, but like I didn't think we really needed him because like Slater was really good. Corey Linsley was a huge addition. I feel like this offensive line is pretty solid now. And it's up there. It's definitely not one of the best in the league, but it's up there and it's pretty solid. And Herbert stayed, his jersey wasn't too dirty after games. He didn't get sacked much. But yeah, I guess there's one thing like Storm Norton sucks, but yeah, no. So their offensive line improved a lot with Slater.
Yeah, so I feel like, he could be like that next offensive lineman that's just like he can kind of be like the next Quentin Nelson. I know that they play like completely different positions, but I think that he can fit in that role perfectly fine. Again, definitely a reach because I don't even know if either of you were considering him, but I like the fact that he's really young. So
Yes.
All right. So 51, the Ravens. First round, I had him taking Jalen Ramsey, who I think is the best corner in the league. And I think many would agree. I feel like the Ravens in the past have always just gone out and trying to get the best players available, no matter their age. And they've always loved having those guys on defense. And I think that's what they're going to do here and take the best pass rusher available, Chandler Jones. He is pretty old, but he is always up there in the league leaders in sacks, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I mean, pairing him with Jalen Ramsey, like you're gonna have Chandler Jones getting the QB within like 3 seconds, and then that pretty much, they have nowhere to throw anyways because Jalen Ramsey's locking down one side of the field. I mean, I think this defense is already looking to be one of the top in the league. And, they're going to go and build their defense like they have, in real life with Marlon Humphrey. They would pick up Calais Campbell, even though he was old. I mean, they've always had solid defensive players. And I think Chandler Jones is a good fit here.
I feel like I'm going to get sniped. I just do. I don't know why.
Well, if you're looking at a defensive player, then maybe.
I am not. So
the Browns took TJ Watt. They could build up one of the better defensive teams ever. No, or they can go offense. And I was thinking running back, but running backs are so like replaceable that you could just draft Rashad Penny and you'll be set. Like stuff like that. Or you can go receiver again, but it's tough. You know what? I don't know. Because I feel like I've drafted so many like receivers and crap already, but I'm gonna go offense here, and I think this is another guy where if he's healthy, he will be a dominant force in the NFL. Well, he is already a dominant force in the NFL, like a dominant force like on the team, and that is Sir Alvin Kamara.
Oh, that was close. Okay,
I know who you're going with. Again, he's a very good like dual threat in the sense of passing and not passing, catching and receiving and running. So he's like a minor downgrade to CMC, but if he can remain healthy, then the Browns have a nice staple to their offense. And I think that as long as he's healthy, he's going to be a really good piece to that team. I don't have much to say. We all know he's really good. He scored 6 touchdowns on Christmas. So as long as the Browns have holiday games, then they should win those games. But again, Kamara he's very effective in both the receiving and running game. So as long as they can get him going, then they have a good chance to get their offense obviously going. And with TJ Watt, a couple defensive stops can keep him in any game.
All right. So as James made a very good point that running back's the most replaceable position. I never thought that I'd be taking this position in at least probably till like the 4th round, because I'm usually very against it. But the Vikings have Lamar Jackson, and what we know about the Ravens with Lamar Jackson is that they like to run the ball about 40 times a game. And who better to put on your team when that happens than Jonathan Taylor? Is that who you thought I was going with? I
thought you were going Dalvin Cook.
Nah, I mean, I love Dalvin, but Taylor is younger. I think he's at this point in his career better.
I completely forgot he existed, honestly. I probably would take him over Kamara, but I forgot he existed.
He's what, 23, 24 years old? Let me look at that. If this was any other team, I would not have picked, or if they had any other quarterback, I would not have picked a running back, at least this early. Yeah, he's 23. He just turned 23 years old. So he's insanely young. He's going to have at least, or he should have at least 4 like really good seasons as a running back. Again, this is a team that will probably be running the ball like 30 times a game. That's exactly what the Colts did last year. And, just they had Carson Wentz as their quarterback, so they didn't make the playoffs. I think Lamar Jackson is definitely an upgrade over Carson Wentz. And again, Taylor's been very durable. He's been really good. I don't think he didn't run for over 2,000 yards, but he was very close to, and he's like the closest thing in the NFL to Derrick Henry, and he's younger than Derrick Henry. Some people may think he's better than Derrick Henry. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is the best running back in the league.
Yeah,
that may be biased, but it's not.
I'm going with JT at 53 for the Vikings to pair with Lamar Jackson, and then we're focusing on offensive line and defense the rest of the draft for that team.
Right. Nice.
All right. So 54 in round 1, I had the Commanders taking Tom Brady. They're in win now mode. And the number one thing with Tom Brady, I mean, he's old. He's very immobile. He cannot run at all. If an edge rusher blows on him, like he's going to fall over. And so my main priority right now is protecting him and giving him weapons. But I'm going to start off by protecting him. And I'm kind of surprised this guy lasted this long. He's one of the top tackles in the league, and he's young. I guess maybe he's underlooked just because he plays right tackle for his team, because this team also, I guess, did have a very good left tackle, but he left the team this year. And
I think you sniped my pick.
Ryan Ramczyk?
Oh, no, not that.
No? Okay,
No.
well, that's who I'm picking.
You led me on to believe that you did steal my pick.
Okay, well, I think I know where you're going next round then. But yeah, I think he's going to do a great job of protecting Tom Brady, just letting him get the ball out quick and distribute it to all of his receivers. I don't see why it'd be hard for him to switch to left tackle from right tackle. I think he'll be just fine.
All right, so Jason gave me a mini heart attack here. But so with the Seahawks, I drafted Derrick Henry. And again, much like Brady, that's your main priority guy. It's all about protecting him. So if you can establish a good tackle, start with a good O-line, then Derrick Henry will become even more dominant. And that man, it starts with Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
What's so funny about that?
It starts with Tristan Wirfs.
I mean, a good O-line can start with Tristan Wirfs. He's young. He was a good addition to that Bucs O-line. He was probably one of Brady's best offensive linemen on that team. He probably was the best. So, I mean, those Iowa boys, he was at Iowa, yeah. Iowa knows how to produce O-linemen. And I think if you have Derrick Henry back there, like Tristan Wirfs is an upgrade over any offensive lineman Derrick Henry's ever had. So if he just runs into Wirfs' zone, he will probably get like a first down every time because Wirfs is just that good. And Derrick Henry is just that effective where I think they can combo really well together. And it's going to be a dangerous offense. And yeah, again, Wirfs is still very young. So he will be one of the best tackles in the league within a couple of years. And again, you got Derrick Henry back there, so like that's dangerous. I'd be scared of the Seahawks, even with just Derrick Henry. I'd be scared actually. But.
All right. So for the Denver Broncos, I gave them Matthew Stafford in the first round.
I just spilled water on my computer. That would have been bad.
That's not good. Yeah, so I went Matthew Stafford in the first round. There are a lot of really good names still left, but I'm gonna take a receiver here. I'm gonna go with Stephon Diggs. I mean, Josh Allen absolutely loves Stephon Diggs. He had a little bit of an off year last year. That's because that Bills receiver room got a little more crowded. And Diggs is what, 27 years old? Yeah. And there are younger receivers. He's 28. There are younger receivers that could end up being better than Diggs, but Diggs is in his prime right now. He's had some injury problems over the last couple of seasons, but he made Kirk Cousins look really good. He made Case Keenum look really good. I don't think that he was the one that made Josh Allen good, but he definitely helped his case. I mean, when Diggs got there, that's when the Bills kind of started to really look like a serious contender. And yeah, I mean, Diggs over the last 5 years has been one of the best receivers in football, great at separation, runs some of the crispiest and smoothest routes in the league. And Matthew Stafford will love him. It'll be like a miniature version of Cooper Kupp. And I think that it will be a good fit. And that's a very, very good quarterback to receiver combo.
All right. So at 57, my next 3 picks, I already have top tier QBs taken for these teams. So I'm not too worried about getting them weapons because these guys can create on their own. So that's not really my top priority right now in round 2, especially since I'm going to be picking with these teams early in round 3. So I'm going to start out the defense here for the Falcons and take one of the most promising young edge rushers. I feel like he kind of came out of nowhere. Well, I wouldn't say nowhere, but he's really improved every year, especially last year. He became one of the top edge rushers, and that's Max Crosby.
Pick.
I mean, yeah, he came out like Eastern Michigan, the 4th round. He's kind of like a nobody. Or who is this guy? He was on Hard Knocks, and I feel like people started liking him there. But he really broke out last year, leading that Raiders defense to the playoffs last year. And from what I can remember, he had a pretty good game in that wild card game against the Bengals.
Yeah, he was in the backfield like on almost every passing down.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think he's definitely undervalued and underrated right now just because there's a lot of good edge rushers, but he's up there with some of these older guys. But the thing is, he's a lot younger. He's probably like 24, 23. I don't know. So I think this is going to be a cornerstone for the Falcons defense for the next 10, 15 years to come.
Nice. Oh, is it me?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So I think with the Bears, I drafted them Joe Burrow, but unlike Jason, I think I'm going to give Burrow a weapon just because I think if you have Burrow, you should focus heavily on offense and get a good offense going like the Bengals did to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think I'm reaching on this guy, but he's just so good and people just forgot because he didn't play all last year. And that is Michael Thomas. I know it's probably not a great pick, but like, again, I still think he's a really talented receiver, and he didn't play last year, but he was the best receiver in 2019. So like, he still has it in him. Obviously it's been a couple of years, but I just think he's still going to be a really good receiver and still put up good numbers. And he's going to make Joe Burrow look good, and Joe Burrow's going to make Michael Thomas look good. They're going to have a good connection, and I just like it. And obviously everyone called Michael Thomas slant boy, but he does do more than that, and he will do more than that, especially with Joe Burrow at QB. So I think that Joe Burrow can make him into an offensive player of the year again.
All right. So
I know you didn't like that pick, but whatever.
Well, no, I think he's really good. I just don't like him as a person. But
I know.
All right. So with this Panthers pick, Deshaun Watson, I gave to them in round 1. I'm gonna just stick with offense here. No, no, I'm gonna go defense actually. I'm gonna go with Minka Fitzpatrick, who I think is probably the best safety in the league. I mean, this Steelers defense was very, very good over the last couple of years, and I feel like ever since the Dolphins traded him to Pittsburgh, he's been a turnover machine. He scores like a couple touchdowns a season. I feel he's a ball hawk in the secondary. He's also very young. He's drafted in 2018, I believe. Just another one of those Alabama defensive backs that end up really, really doing great in the league. I think that Minka is again one of the best. I think he's the best safety in the league. I like Derwin James a lot, but Minka's been a lot less injured, I feel, in his career. And I'm going to go with him to pair with Deshaun Watson for the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have him there, and I feel like an idiot for not even having him listed. I don't know. I forgot about him, but moving on. This pick, it's gonna be very weird. Maybe to you guys, it's probably a reach, but with this redraft, I'm kind of just going outside the box with different teams and trying to see like how it'll end up at the end, especially if we put in the Madden. Like, it's kind of cool to see what'll work, and we can just see like a couple years. But I feel like this would be a very Giants pick, just based on how they've drafted in the past and what they've done in free agency, how their team's built. But I'm gonna take the best run stuffer in the league, Vita Vea.
Oh, I didn't have him listed either. So
yeah, huge guy. He's probably 350 pounds. I mean,
I'll look it up.
He's also very fast too, very strong. I mean, he pretty much makes it impossible to run up the middle because you're gonna meet him. He's gonna get his body on you, and I feel like the Giants, they've always loved big guys. Sounds a little weird, but just the truth. They always go for offensive tackles, defensive tackles, D linemen. So I think this pick just made sense to me based off the Giants franchise and what they've done in the past.
All right, I'm gonna attempt. First of all, he's 346 pounds. I'm gonna attempt to read his name, his full name.
Oh, God.
It's Tavita Tuliakani Ono Tiupulotio Moesi Vahai Fehoko Filatuvea.
Nice. That's always fun.
So he is the newest New York Giant, according to this. Okay.
Sure. All right. Who do I draft for the Jets? Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Okay. So if you have Aaron Rodgers, you don't need to draft receivers because the Packers haven't. But I do think you need a staple of your defense. And I think one man who I also think gets undervalued is a cornerback, and it's Xavier Howard.
Oh, I didn't write him, and I feel like an idiot too. So there we go.
Yeah, exactly. He's undervalued. He's pretty good. I don't know how he did in 2021, but I think he's very
I
undervalued.
think he was pretty good.
Yeah, I think he was
Like every
good.
year.
He's one of the best ball hawking corners. He's just a good cornerback, and I think Aaron Rodgers would feel comfortable with his defense. Like if he throws a pick, he's like, oh, you know what? Our defense has Xavier Howard. We'll be fine. Obviously, you never think that because one player doesn't make up the whole defense, but I think a lockdown corner like that, again, you're not gonna like we've said multiple times. We have a theme of corners, and it's just the corners we've drafted so far. You're just not gonna throw to that side of the field, and it's the same thing with Xavier Howard. You're not gonna throw that side of the field with him, so that kind of it eliminates half the field. So I think him being on your defense is a good move, especially with Aaron Rodgers at QB, because then Aaron Rodgers has to worry less about having to score every fucking drive.
All right. I was going to give the Texans an offensive. I gave him Aaron Donald in the first round. I was going to give him an offensive player to kind of balance it out, but I didn't really do this for any of my teams. So I'm just going to do it now and like stack on kind of one position. I'm just going to make this defensive line insane. So I'm going to go with a guy who, I feel like at this point in his career is maybe a little bit overrated. Well, actually, I feel like after 2020, he was a little overrated. And then after last year, he's a bit underrated just because I feel like no one really thinks about him anymore. And his career's only lasted 2 years. And that's Chase Young.
I like that.
Yeah.
I thought about him at the very end of our draft the last time, and I was just like, I don't, not yet. I felt like it was a little early, and I was kind of waiting, and I was just like, you know what, I gotta take advantage of it. He only had 7.5 sacks his first year, and everyone was kind of raving about him being the next Von Miller, being the next Nick Bosa, whatever. I don't think that he's quite there yet, but the fact that he's 23 years old is very, very intriguing. You can have him on your defensive line for over a decade, and you have Aaron Donald there too. So literally, good luck to opposing offensive lines against this Texans team. Again, he's only 23 years old, so you can have him for a very long time. I know I just repeated myself, but
I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, so him and Aaron Donald together is not going to be fun to play against. And there are maybe some better current pass rushers like that I have reading right now, but I don't know. I wanted to go with the young guy.
All right. So for the Lions, first round, I took the Josh Allen for them, their leader of the offense. And now I'm going to go to the other side of the ball and give them their leader of the defense. And unfortunately for him, he's going from one shitty franchise to another. He's staying in the cold, staying in division, actually. He's a bright spot on a pretty shitty team. I've been shitting on this team a lot. Wow. But yeah, they're not good, but the one bright spot with that team is defense. I don't know if you guys know what team I'm talking about, and he's been the leader for them. And that's Roquan Smith.
Oh shit. No,
Yeah.
it's not even that. It's someone that used to play for that team that
Is still there.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
kind of forgot he existed, and I'm really mad at myself because I would have picked him over Chase Young.
I was
Yeah,
gonna take it
that's who I
next.
thought you were gonna take.
Fuck. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm so dumb. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah. Now you
I
guys
mean,
know
you
I'm
have a
picking next,
chance
but-
at him.
No, he doesn't.
Beginning.
No, I don't.
Okay,
You
yeah,
don't.
nope, Jaguars are taking. Spoiler.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, he's very young. He's very fast. He's good in coverage. He can stop the run. He can really do it all. I'm pretty happy he fell this far because, I mean, he can lead the defense easily. I think Dan Campbell would love him. Nice, gritty guy. He'll fly all over the field. He'll do everything for you. That's pretty much all I got to say about him.
Speaking of doing everything, a former Bears defensive player in Khalil
Yeah.
Mack. Surprise, surprise. If not, it didn't get spoiled.
Mhm.
I was gonna
I can't believe myself.
I was gonna take him much earlier, but I trusted my gut. And the Jaguars have Mahomes. We don't know if he's gonna do good with not as great receivers, but I may just take one with my next pick. Who knows? But actually, I will. Whatever, screw it. We're not gonna do it today, but you have Mahomes on the offense. You have Khalil Mack on the defense. At those are good two captains of this ball right there. So, yeah, I mean, it got spoiled, but it's whatever.
I think we should put a poll for which receiver James takes with his next pick. Now that we
Yeah.
know it's going to be a receiver.
It is going to be. It may be. It also could be someone else I'm thinking of. But
Okay, fair enough.
no, actually, I don't know. No, I don't know if it's going to be a receiver. I changed my mind.
I'm
I know
so
what I'm
upset.
taking. What?
I'm so upset.
I literally, when I was on the Colts pick, I was like, okay, is it between him or Khalil Mack? And I was like, I'll just go Devin White.
That's what
Like-
I was at the Ravens pick too.
Yeah.
It was between
He-
Chandler Jones or Khalil Mack.
He's like not as good as he used to be, but I think like
Exactly.
when Khalil Mack was like in his prime, whatever. That's a term that's been thrown loosely lately, but
I know, man. Dak Prescott.
I think no. Okay,
That's
can
ridiculous.
I hold on?
You need to
my-
explain yourself with that. Yeah.
So my reasoning for that was someone who's in the middle of their career.
Yeah,
was it.
that's just not the right term for prime.
I know. Well, no, because like prime is like when you're at your best, but it's not like your rookie season or like the very end of your career. It's supposed to be like,
Well, Joe Burrow's in his prime, and it's only his second year.
well, I mean,
Actually, no,
true.
we don't know that. Actually,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
could get better.
You don't know that, but yeah, what prime really means is when you're at your best. But obviously, that was not how I was saying it, which was stupid. But I should have said like Mahomes or like
Yeah.
It's okay.
Devontae Adams or something like that.
It's
Okay,
a
it
joke of the
happens.
draft now.
So and
Having half the field knocked out by a cornerback and Dak Prescott in his prime are the two memes of this draft.
yeah. All right. So that was that. That was interesting. I'm so mad that I forgot. I was like thinking of like this is like right after we did this, I was like, okay, who's still available? Dak like came into my head and then he just never did after that.
I mean, it's still not a bad pick just because like the age difference. So
For
It's not
what?
that
Oh,
bad.
with Chase Young?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't regret taking Chase Young at all,
Yeah.
but like
But it's like you just forgot about him.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna stop the share. Definitely some interesting picks in round 2 that I didn't expect to see. I did not expect Vita Vea to go at all.
I didn't
Um,
either. But
Wait, let me look at this. I didn't really expect myself to pick Jonathan Taylor at all. I didn't really expect Stephon Diggs. Honestly, I didn't expect Matt Ryan either, if I'm being honest.
I bet you didn't expect. I don't even know. Tristan Wirfs. Actually, Michael Thomas.
I wrote
Oh.
down both of those. So
Oh, haha.
I mean, I wasn't expecting to take any skill position players, like wide receivers or running backs, even tight ends. But like, I ended up taking Debo, which I wasn't expecting. And then I saw who you guys were taking, and that makes me think I need to start thinking about it more for round 3 and 4.
Okay. I have my next pick confirmed for the Jaguars. It's not a receiver. Don't worry. I know who it is.
okay. Well, we will see. I'm gonna keep my notes list, obviously, but
Yeah.
that was fun. Round 3. We can maybe even do it later this week. I'm pretty open. Or we'll just wait for next week. Whatever. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
to
Well,
me.
Whenever we can.
Tomorrow's a big day for me and Jared because Mets
Yes.
game.
Yeah, I am not a Mets
Me
fan.
too. I'm going.
I am the only Mets fan here. Yeah, we're all three of us are going. We're all sitting together at a section 500. Yeah, no, I am the only Mets fan here, obviously. But
Ooh, perfect timing. Dinner is ready.
nice.
All right,
Dinner.
sounds good. Jason, go eat dinner.
I will.
And my internet connection is unstable apparently, so I think we're gonna end this now. YouTube, you can watch the first round of the Ultimate Redraft again at Route Runners Podcast, Instagram at Route Runners Pod, and TikTok at Route Runners Podcast. Thank you, James. But yeah, that is it. Round 3 will be coming to you soon. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one and stay tuned for round 3. Thanks, guys.
Bleh.